before we do a quick run through, I have a few notes. I'm going to do from S to T in 4/4, but at T I'm going to go into 2. So listen to the flutes and clarinets. They're playing solid 8th notes throughout that whole passage, so you should be able to get your beat from that. And please try not to drag your tempo, because we are going to go pretty quick. So we're just going to do a quick run through, see where we are, okay? So letter S. Between that 8th note, quarter note, so da 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 da. I really want you to lean into that so we can really hear that offbeat. Okay? So try that again at the same spot you started. Ready? 1, 2, ready. Good. Do that every single time, okay? Can I please hear cornet at T? I want everybody to listen to this. This is the only person playing the melody. It's an elongated version of the melody. So make sure if you cannot hear this, you are playing too loud, and please back off. Okay? So I'm going to give you 2. Ready? 1, 2. Too loud. Can I please hear everybody at letter T? One, two. Before the allegro, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 before the allegro, it's 246. If you have whole notes, I would like you to play those, but I want you to put a little bit of emphasis on the beat. So, ba, ba, because right now we're really growing into the allegro. That's a huge part of the piece. So we need to keep building, and I want you to put just a little bit of an accent there, okay? So can I please hear the whole notes at 246 or 4 before the allegro? Ready? more. I really want it to build, so crescendo into that last fermata and really accent those. Can you do that one more time for me, please? Ready? 1, 2. Better, thank you. I would like to please hear at T the flutes, oboes, the da 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 da. Okay? So if you have that, please play. Ready? 1, 2. Can you guys back off just a little bit? You guys are playing really consistent, really even eighth notes, and I really like that. But we need to be able to hear everything else that's going on, and you guys are like the frosting that goes on the cake. So just back up a little bit so that we can hear everything else going on. Okay? Can I please hear everybody at T? Everybody at T. Ready? 1, 2. Alright, so at S, melody people. When you're playing your melody, da, 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 can you try and just give a little bit of emphasis on the beat to keep it going? So, ba, 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 ba. Do you try to do that? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, ready? At letter S. You guys are dragging just a little bit. I want you to be really on top of that beat. Alright, so everybody at S, sizzle while you guys play your melody. Okay? So everybody at S sizzling except for if you have a melody that I'd like you to play. Ready? 1, 2, ready? Don't drag the tempo. Okay? Alright. I would like to hear at letter S the accompaniment. I want you guys, I know it's marked 4K, I want you to back off just a little bit so that when we get to measure 230 we can really see that crescendo, because there is a crescendo at 230 which is right before T. There's a crescendo into T. So back off a little bit so we have somewhere to go. Okay, so can I please hear at letter S if you do not have the melody? So that'll be everybody except for the oboe, flute, clarinet. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, ready. Right. Alto sax, try to stay on top of the beat. Coming on beat 3 a little bit late. Okay? Do it again, please. 1, 2, ready. That sounded really good. Thank you for that.
All right, we are out of time. Good job, Jess. about it?
I felt like I talk too fast when I get a little bit nervous. And I felt like I had an order of things how I wanted to do it, but I kind of ended up jumping because I'd hear something be like, oh, I want to fix this before I fix this. So I was at letter S, I probably could have fixed everything there. And then I was at letter T, I probably could have done everything there, but instead it was S, then T, then S, then it's, yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else?
No.
Okay, ensemble. Comments for Jess? Aaron?
I thought it was a very efficient rehearsal.
Yeah, you kept it moving along at a pretty good clip, which was good. You do talk fast. I talk fast too, but it didn't bother me. Did it bother you, ensemble? No, it didn't bother them. I felt like you kept things moving really well. There were only a few times where you had to kind of look at your post-it note where there was like 5 seconds of dead time. But otherwise, I mean, we were just going the whole time, which was good. Good. Anybody else? Comments? Matt?
Yeah, you did talk fast, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you're well-spoken and clear enough to where it's easily understandable.
Thank you.
So, that was good. The only thing I was scared about was, I don't know if you saw, but at T, I had the rhythmic part.
I was hoping that the eighth notes in the upper parts would help you subdivide so you could get that rhythmic part. It's kind of what my hope was, and you seemed pretty good.
So did he get it? Did he nail it every time?
Nail it every time? No.
Okay.
Did he get it most of the time? Yes.
You always want to address it.
Okay.
I mean, I know he's back here sweating it. I'm watching him sweat it the whole time. So I know that he's sweating it. But even if you know the player's like, sometimes just saying, hey, just have a look at that part sometime before the next rehearsal.
Okay.
Is all you need to say, and they're like, okay, got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that Matt really needs that, but your high school kids will.
They will.
Yeah. So make sure you address. If you hear something,
Then just say it.
just say it. You don't have to rehearse it necessarily. If you don't think it's going to do any good to rehearse it because there's just a hands thing that he's got to work out, just address it. Okay, good. Other comments from the ensemble? James?
I like that you were listening to us. Like when you called me out for being behind the beat, or when you were talking about the flute clarinet as well. One thing I noticed right at the beginning, right at the end of T, we had the fermata. When you cued the second beat, it kind of looked like a cutoff. So I was confused. But I thought your communication was good.
Thank you.
Good. I have a couple things for you, Jess.
Okay.
At letter S, you kept telling them to don't let the tempo slow down, but you were slowing.
I was slowing it down?
Yep. And part of that is because you're using too much of your arm to try and keep it moving. Just wrist. If you want to keep things moving, you got to move it forward.
Okay.
In your body.
I have a question then, because it's march forte and it's staccato. How do I balance that?
The size always is in relation to the speed. So you can. How can you show ensemble? How can you show loud and while still being small? What can you do? What tool do you have that you can use to show loud? Bass, good. What else? I thought you were gonna do something else there, Matt.
Your other hand.
Yes. What about this? This is loud, right? So you could go small here to keep the tempo moving, and if it's not loud enough, you can go. You can stop the beat pattern and give them like a louder. Also, that might be a moot point. I would do this whole thing in S in 2.
Well, see, I wasn't. Eventually, I would, but I wasn't sure because it was fast and a lot of eighth notes if I should start there.
Well, I think you can hear how they're doing with it. They did pretty well with it the first time, so I think you could say, I'm going to jump into 2 here, because that's what I'd like to do anyway, and then jump into 2 and let them be responsible for the tempo, because they were just following you. Okay? One other thing, you did do a really good job of kind of fixing things as you heard them, but there were some things that you didn't necessarily fix that I thought you should have fixed. Did anybody notice that? They played lots of wrong notes.
Okay.
Lots of wrong notes. And you don't necessarily have to go, measure 33, it's a concert. You might need to, but I probably would start with something like, hey, in measure 33, flutes, check your notes. There's something not quite right there. Or clarinets, check your notes. There's something not right there. Give them a chance to figure it out, and then if they mess it up again, then you have to be more specific. So just make sure you address it, because that happened like 3 or 4 times. Okay? All right, good job.